understanding basic concepts. Okay, we're live on how many channels? 11 out of 15, 14 out of 15. So we still have the main channel. I can't believe it, but the main channel is still up. A couple shows back, I kind of pushed the limits there, but a man has to do what a man has to do. And I'll always have Rumble to fall back on. So I have that. It's kind of like a safety net. And you guys know about Rumble, so, you know, you'll be able to find me.
Nick Brown.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
I can't imagine the level of ignorance it would take
Whore
to be this
Hey nay.
dumb and then to go out in public
Big Merc 83.
and show people that you're this dumb.
Sup gang.
Nick, Whore Merc, what's up, my favorite peoples? Check this out. Check this little ditty out right here.
Say incredibly wrong about stuff.
Honest to God, environmentalists, quit ripping into me. I am serious when I ask you, how can the planet heating up make it colder? That's
okay. Yeah, I know. You don't understand it because you don't do any research on your own. You don't seek out a climate scientist or a blog or a paper or the actual science that's written. Why? Because you're a right-wing cuck. That's why. You're a right-wing cuck piece of shit, and you don't understand science. You don't want to understand science because it proves every belief that you have wrong, right? Science destroys everything. So this is why some moron like this literally comes out and says, all he wants to know is how can it get colder while the planet's heating up? He just doesn't understand that. The explanation is so simple and basic that it's amazing that he just couldn't figure this one out on himself, on his own. But you know, I'm sure I had to be told this too. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to put it in terms, and I hope that Big Merc takes this and makes a clip of it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with him asking the question, and I'm just going to give him, the actual answer, okay?
Say incredibly wrong about stuff.
honest to God, environmentalists, quit ripping into me. I am serious when I ask you, how can the planet heating up make it colder? That's all I want to know.
They laugh.
Quit telling me what a stupid son of a bitch I am.
Okay, you are a stupid son of a bitch. Okay, you are a stupid, fucking hateful son of a bitch. That's the first thing I want to say. You are. And this question that you ask, like you say you're serious and you want to know why, is very easily answered. Okay? And after, you know, all the name throwing and all the name calling that I've done now, I'm just going to go ahead and give you the actual answer so people will know that I know what I'm fucking talking about. As the planet heats up, it creates what? More humidity, right? Like when you're in a shower and you turn on the hot water and there's steam in the room. As it gets hotter, more steam appears, more moisture in the atmosphere. When that moisture goes up in the atmosphere, it causes more rain events, it causes more snowing events, and it makes it colder in places too.
Holly Horn.
While the whole planet's heating up.
Good morning, Nay.
Now, science has explained this for years. We've known about this for years. Hello, Holly. But the fact that you just won't even look at the science to figure it out. Then you go out in public and you do a live stand-up, and all the Republicans that go out there to watch you at your stand-up, they act like you're funny and that you're making sense and you're laughing, and they're all a bunch of idiots too, because they want to ignore the science that you're ignoring. You know, Donald Trump ignored the science, you ignored the science, your followers are ignoring science, Fox News ignores the science, Greg Gutfeld ignores the science. You know, don't sit there and play dumb with us. We know you're not that dumb. We know you're just playing your stupid right-wing narrative. But at the same time, man, you're going to sit there and say you've got a serious question? Well, I've got a serious answer for you, okay? You're not funny, okay? That's the answer. You're not funny, and you don't deserve a fucking answer. You know what you deserve? Is to keep going on your pathetic life, believing what you believe, and then getting caught out in the cold when you get fucked because you didn't believe that the global warming was actually a real thing. So you don't deserve a fucking answer from me. I'm sorry I even gave you one. I'm watching an excellent show. It's called the Cody Shody. And I know that most of you guys probably, you know, you'll lose me on Shody, and that's cool. You probably lose me on Cody. But it's your loss. You know, it's your loss. And I'll tell you what. Take a few minutes, get high with me, and watch this guy. And I think you might agree that this is something that you might want to be subscribed to and watching on YouTube as well. He might not be right about everything, but I have a hard time. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning. Holly Horn. They can fall off a cliff.
Thank you,
Patrick
Holly.
John Welder.
Wow, you guys are answering me.
If you've ever seen Don't Look Up, That's Our Society in a nutshell.
Yes, it is, Patrick John Welder. I've seen
Big
it like
Merc
6
83.
times.
Far too much to clip.
Far too much to clip? Okay. My bad. I tried to make it under a minute. Okay. At least we tried. Anyway, I want you guys to listen to this guy. This is Cody Johnston from Some More News. I would love it if Holly would go subscribe to him, because I know that Holly will. I don't know about the rest of you, but Holly will go subscribe to this guy. He's fantastic.
Tell me that.
Hey Dennis, so when the Arctic warms up, that disturbs a circular wind pattern called the polar vortex that moves cold air. Wait, actually, I bet 1 million people already told you this, you stupid son of a bitch.
Do you know what's funny? Is I didn't watch this far, and I didn't know that he went in and gave the explanation. Literally gave the same explanation I did. How funny is that? How funny is that? I haven't even watched this far yet. I love it, and I love the fact that he says 1 million people already told you this, and you're just playing dumb. I said that too. How funny is that, guys? Is that funny? Do you guys think that's funny and kind of, I don't know, kind of shows people that I really do know what the fuck I'm talking about on this crazy show, right?
Hey Dennis, so when the Arctic warms up, that disturbs a circular wind pattern called the polar vortex that moves cold air. Wait, actually, I bet 1 million people already told you this, you stupid son of a bitch. Dennis doesn't make a joke there because he thinks this rotund truth dump about climate change
Because he thinks it's funny on its own.
is huge enough to work on its own. But
How funny is that? And I didn't know he was going to use those words, but I'm on the same level as this guy. That's why I think every single one of you, not just Holly, should go seek out Some More News and follow this guy and follow him. Yeah, he is. Thanks, Steve. And follow him on Twitter. He's Cody Johnston on Twitter. Some More News. You might not like his style. You might not like the fact that he's kind of, a little. He might be.
Dennis Miller.
He might be a little too.
Oh boy.
He might be a little too effeminate for you. It doesn't bother me. Whatever he's got going on, I don't care. The guy's making nothing but sense all the time. I've watched him for years. I kind of fell off for a little while, and because I got unsubscribed, I believe, from his channel. And then I found him again. I was like, oh, I forgot about this guy. He's been going every day, man. But, YouTube doesn't want me to see this shit.
in reality, he's just being obtuse and using wordplay in order to seem like he's calling out an inconsistency. Why do they call them hot dogs if they're not made out of dogs? Pause for laughter and awards. I almost can't talk about this stale dip in the context of politics, even though he is firmly conservative now. And that's because he was and always will be terrible, regardless of his political affiliation. Dennis Miller's whole bit was that he was some funny intellectual looking...
No, his whole bit was he's snarky. He's so snarky. He's just basically, all Dennis Miller is Paul Lynde without the gay. That's all he's just doing, Paul Lynde. That's all he's doing. That's all he ever did. He heard Paul Lynde talking on Bewitched from Bewitched from the old show, and he started talking like this. And that's his whole thing, is he talks like Paul Lynde, and he's a hater, and he hates people that are different than him, and he's a right winger.
Down at us dumb
how predictable.
But as the years progressed, it became clear that he just owned a thesaurus.
Holly. Thank you for subscribing to Some More News. This is what I say to you. One day, Holly, you're going to come back here. It might be this afternoon or it might be in a year. You're going to come back and you're like, nay.
Holly Horn.
Yeah.
Paul Lynde was funny.
And Paul Lynde was funny, exactly. Paul Lynde was the original. But this guy right here, you're going to come back and you're going to thank me for introducing you to Cody Shody. You're going to be like, nay, I can't believe I hadn't heard of this guy before. You're going to go back and watch all of his old stuff, and you're going to be like, oh my God, nay, I can't believe he's hit everything right. He's on top of everything, even when he's attacking from the left, when he's attacking from the right, when he's attacking from the center. It doesn't matter. He's always making sense. He's amazing. And if he ever says anything you disagree with him saying, let me know, let me check it out. I'll call him out. If I ever could call him out, and I don't think I've ever been able to call him out on my show, not once.
I already like him from the clip.
You're gonna love this guy, and I'll take my thank you now. You're welcome.
He once made a tweet so confusing that people worried he was suffering a stroke.
It's funny. The rest of you guys in the chat that kind of feel like you're sitting on the sidelines watching me and Holly have a conversation, when I make a recommendation like this, I know that most of you aren't going to act on it, but I know that Holly will because I know where her mind is. The rest of you should listen to what Holly and I are saying to each other and jump on board. Get in the canoe, okay? Quit sitting on the sidelines, pretending that you're paying attention. Go watch this guy. Go follow him and start learning some shit.
Yes. Some more news.
Some more news. And he's also got another channel. It's some more news or some more news or something like that. So I don't think I found that second channel, but go find the second channel. I got to go subscribe to that one too. And I usually just fast forward through the commercial. He does a commercial every show. I usually just fast forward through that.
There's another one saying, and I'm going to do this one out loud. Progressives are shooting themselves in the foot more frequently than a centipede who, quite frankly, is getting no relief whatsoever from a topical application of a generic antifungal toenail cream. So ironically,
Well, I don't know what Cody's about to say about that tweet, but that's definitely just not funny. And his whole point is that the right-winger comedians are not funny. That's what the show is. Why is conservative comedy so not very good? That's the title of the video in the top left corner. And this is yet another example of a comedian writing something that he thought was funny, and it just falls flat on its face, man. It's not even, it's like, what, dude? Why do you think this, why would you even post that if it doesn't make you laugh? I mean, did you giggle when you wrote it? You probably did not. There's your first red flag right there, not to put it up on the internet. You know what my test is? I'll write something. I'll go back, I'll read it again. If I laugh the second time, then I know it's funny, because I already know what it says. But when I read it, it makes me giggle. I know it's good. And then I know that I'm just being ignored on Twitter when people don't retweet or like or whatever, because I know you fucking giggled too. You chose not to hit the like button. You chose not to hit the retweet button. You chose not to leave a comment and say, thanks, Nay, that made me giggle, or whatever. Yeah, man, I get it. I have lazy followers, man.
He actually is an amazing asset to comedy, just not in the way he thinks he is. Remember when he starred in a Tales from the Crypt movie? That's not relevant to anything we're talking about, but I just wanted to say it out loud. There was a brief window of time where Hollywood looked at him and saw a leading man. That window being exactly 1996 and not a year before or after. Anyway, I gotta go dump out. So I guess I'll put on some ads and then we'll be right back talking about other people talking about funny stuff. I promise this all leads somewhere. Like my dump into the toilet.
Okay, so.
Hey, listen up, ears. All the ears. Hear your master, Cody.
So that's the ad. We'll skip that.
In there. Smoking. Okay.
No law regarding cannabis.
In case for some reason you forgot.
Bottom of the hour.
We're talking about conservative humor and why it doesn't work. Specifically, the excuse that liberals simply don't find their humor funny because we're triggered or offended or whatever. And while I can't speak for everyone, the actual truth there is that much like Dennis Miller's zinger about toenail cream not helping a centipede get relief so it shoots itself in the feet, like progressives, the conservative jokes about liberals and Dems aren't really offensive, but rather so confusing or inconsistent that they just don't actually touch a nerve. For example,
I'm Wes Halula. I'm Ethan Nicole. This is the Babylon Bee News Desk. As President Biden's drone strikes continue to rain down terror on unsuspecting Middle Easterners, many have begun to paint the colors of the transgender flag over their doorposts in hopes that the drone strikes pass them by.
It was discovered that President Biden programmed the drones to ignore homes showing support for transgenderism, and as a result, dozens of lives have been spared, a baker's dozen at most.
Oh, sweet, the Babylon Bee. You thought I didn't see you over there, but I did. See, the joke that they continue in the bit is that Biden is so militaristically pro-trans and therefore bombing anyone who isn't. The problem is that while Biden has reversed a lot of Trump's key policies surrounding the LGBTQ community, he actually hasn't done too much else besides that. And so if you were to make fun of Biden, perhaps you could mock him for presenting as an ally while not putting his money where his mouth is. Conservative comedy, or not even a.
This is very important what he just said right there, and I hope you guys caught that. This is what I always say. When I see people like podcasters that I like, and they attack people they don't like, or they attack someone on the other side, or they attack another podcaster, or they attack a politician or whatever, and they do it on something that's who cares? You're like, why are you going after that? It's what we call rotting fruit on the ground. It's not low-hanging fruit. Okay, it was at one point, but it got picked so many times. It's on the ground and it's rotting. And you're trying to pick up that rotten fruit and throw it out there. And you're not going to win anybody over with that. It's a weak argument, right? What he says all the time is, there's so many other things you could clickbait. There's so many other things that you can attack these people on. Attack someone on something legitimate that they did. Attack somebody like Donald Trump or whatever on something legitimate that he said. You know, don't make shit up or try to exaggerate it, or like Jimmy Dore does when the whole Pelosi thing happened, and he goes in and he finds little pieces of straw, like, oh, he lived in a Black Lives Matter house. Oh, he didn't have a shirt on. Oh, it sounds like he walked for an hour to go to. Oh, he died of hair, and he tries to cherry pick little things. It doesn't make any sense, dude. If you want to attack Nancy Pelosi, you know how to do it. You know how to attack Pelosi. She's fucking enriched herself. She's enriched herself and her husband on her position. You know, she went to fucking Taiwan. She put the whole goddamn world on fucking red alert. You know, there's plenty of things to go after her on, and you have not run out of them. But it's Jimmy and everybody else out there, whether you're on the left or the right, when you make arguments against people and it's just a made up faux argument, you're losing support, man. You're going to lose my support, and I'm going to try to teach my audience how to spot it themselves. So they know not to, just go along with shit and agree with shit and nod their heads like a bobblehead doll because, someone they like is saying something. Hey, man, someone you like is saying something. If you like them so much, pay attention to what they're saying. And if it doesn't make sense and you claim to like them, call them on their bullshit, man. Instead of just nodding along like all of these Jimmy Dore fans are doing right now. He's made this fake account on Twitter. And all of these people are going, oh, why are you going after his fake account? And you've got fake accounts, or why are you doing that? Whatever. Oh, you did this, or you said that, or blah, blah, blah. Or why aren't you going after Trump, or blah, 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 blah. Instead of worrying about all that shit, look at the facts. And then make a non-biased judgment call, not based on your feelings. Act like you are an impartial jury. For once, stop playing teams and playing sides, man. We would get so much further, so much faster with each other, with all of society, if we could just eliminate all the bullshit that we run. We make everybody jump through all these stupid freaking bullshit hoops. Get rid of these fucking bullshit hoops, man. Stop calling me on something I never. Stop coming into my fucking live stream and calling me a fucking pedophile, you fucking idiot. Why don't you come in here and hear something I said a year ago and come in here and say, hey, man, you said this a year ago and now you're saying that. Those are the smart motherfuckers. Those are the ones who know how to come after me. Call me on my bullshit. Don't call me on some shit you fucking pulled out of your fucking little dick hole. All right? This is a great example of something I'm always talking about on here. Don't go after the rotten fruit on the ground. They're giving you plenty of fruit at the top of the tree that you can be picking. You can be picking all those things, man. Go through their tweets. Go through their fucking, how do they vote? Go through what they say, the things they say. Jimmy Dore retweeted some anti-Semitic shit. Fiorella Isabel, she tweeted out some anti-Semitic shit. Call them on that bullshit. I'm always going to call them out on that bullshit. Now, you know why? Someone once came to me not long ago, a couple weeks ago, and said, dude, is Jimmy Dore an anti-Semite? And I was like, absolutely not. This is what I said. You could catch me on this one right here. I was like, fuck no. I've been watching Jimmy for years. He's never said anything anti-Semitic. He's got fucking a Jewish guy up there on screen with him all the time. He's not anti-Semitic, blah, 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 blah. You know what? I got proven wrong. He subscribes to an anti-Semitic trope that what is said in quotes is that how can I say this without saying it? Is that a certain group of people, a certain religious group of people run Hollywood.
That guy is proof you still have to shave with a beard or people think you own a 7-Eleven.
fundamentally don't understand the intent of it because it's being hidden from you. This also suspiciously protects the B from having to admit they aren't funny because they can hide behind this agent of chaos excuse where they're so funny that they aren't funny or something like that. But going all the way back to what that cigar fucker said about the audience being a key factor, any and all meta jokes are routinely lost on their core audience of conservatives. I'm going to show you one of their sketches.
It's 420 in Newfoundland, everybody.
Try to figure out what the joke is.
Hey there, you might have heard discussion about CRT, and you might be worried that we teachers are brainwashing your kids with critical race theory. Well, you should be worried. We are absolutely indoctrinating them with this stuff. If you want to know for sure that your kids are being taught CRT in school, look for these 5 signs.
What is this?
Number 1, they call your boss to tell them how racist you are, and they get you fired. Look, if your kid tries to get you canceled because you perpetuate systems of oppressive whiteness by treating all races equally, which is totally...
Okay, no kids are doing that, all right? No kids are calling their parents bosses. They wouldn't know how, so that's not happening. So is this all supposed to be tongue-in-cheek? Is this like a comedy? I don't know.
Racist. They might be learning CRT at school.
I think it is.
So the premise is that these are a series of signs.
Because, you know, it almost seems like to me that that guy is pro-CRT. And he's just trying to show how fucking obnoxious and stupid, you know, it is. It seemed like that to me, didn't it? It seemed like this works for CRT. This works for American history. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm very confused right now.
Critical race theory is being taught in your schools, and the joke is that all the signs are over-the-top reactions against appropriation and shame for being white and such. It's an exaggeration, or an irony, used to ridicule a belief, also known as satire.
Right.
But what's fascinating is that this premise seems to be satirizing the right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the exaggeration...
Yes! Yes, it does. So this is why I'm so confused right now. So let's see where Cody goes with this, because I'm about to learn some shit. I'm about to go to school. Cody Shody's about to take me to the goddamn woodshed, son.
Is that CRT would turn kids into these over-the-top left-wing stereotypes when obviously it wouldn't, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it's just saying what they really think CRT can do to kids, in which case, then what's the joke? So doesn't that mean the B is making fun of the right-wing outrage?
You know, it didn't seem like a joke. It seemed like they're saying, look at how obnoxious you are. And thinking, what is this? What's going to happen to your kids? They're going to call your boss and get you fired. That's what it seems like to me right now. This is so crazy.
CRT? I mean, maybe, right? Is this like the AOC joke? It's possible they would do that, I guess, apparently. And yet, weirdly, this video is filled with comments by anti-CRT people saying shit like, the line between satire and reality is being blurred. As if the stuff in this video is like real things people are saying. And this is where my brain starts hurting.
Right. Because
the video itself really seems to be mocking the...
Cody, my brain's been hurting for the last 2 minutes since you started this segment. I am so confused still.
Over-exaggeration of CRT fears, but the audience seems to miss that and see it as a commentary of the very real dangers of teaching CRT.
No law regarding cannabis.
These audience are definitely more right-wing than left-wing, and every other thing they did on critical race theory clearly reflects a right-wing view on it. I don't know, maybe this was written by their one writer who is pro-CRT or anti-CRT, or is it the Andy Kaufman thing again? But there's an easier answer here. Going back to the fact that conservative humor is often met with a level of confusion from liberals about what exactly the joke is. And perhaps right now, a Babylon Bee writer or some conservative is watching my confusion and laughing at it. Because what Andy Kaufman was, his specific brand, would now be called trolling. Kaufman would do things like wrestle women to show how weak they are, the punchline being that he was doing an act to get a reaction from audiences. The joke was that people were offended. That's the core idea behind trolling, which is really just another word for like a prank. You want the reaction. A notable successful troll would be people like Ken M. or Daniel from SF, who prey on small circles on the internet.
I only called the cops once. On my stepdad for punching me when I was 15. Since I gave him a black eye, they didn't do anything. I never called the swine yard again. I take care of it myself.
Right on, Billy.
acting oblivious and frustrating so that we, the actual audience, can laugh at the exchanges, right? A more mainstream version is the fellows, or chaps, at Jackass, honking air horns at cracker-ass golfers trying to make their putts or swings or whatever golfers do. I didn't look into it. Something about flags. But in all of those cases, the trolls have two things in common. The people they're pranking are a small niche group, and they inherently have a good sense of comedy in what they do. Daniel from SL's most notable work is when he played the game Rust, pretended not to know how to use a bow and arrow for way too long while other players tried to teach him, and then uses the bow and arrow perfectly to kill the people trying to help him. There's a setup and punchline there beyond the frustration of the gamers in the video. It might feel weird that I'm sitting here explaining comedy bits like a parent describing a 30 Rock episode, but honestly, you're gonna wish I kept going instead of showing you this clip.
Darn tranny. It's always giving me problems with them. That's the last time I drive a Chevy. I'll tell you that. Anyway, this week I changed my gender and went to Planet Fitness.
I gotta say, I hate Steven Crowder. That was a good fucking joke. Yeah, I hate Steven Crowder. He's a fucking bigot. He's anti everyone who's different than him. He's a piece of human garbage. But that was a good joke. And you can come at me and disagree with me on that. It's an opinion thing. That shit to me was funny. I don't think it put down, you know, it's when he says damn tranny at the beginning of that, and you know it's Steven Crowder, you immediately expect him to start talking about, you know, people, not a car. And so when it backs out and you can immediately see he's talking about his transmission on his car, which tranny is the accepted term among mechanics and customers that drive cars. When you're talking about a transmission, people are just like tranny. You know, it's just like, it's one less syllable, it's a little easier. People know what you're saying. It's the accepted terminology. It's the slang accepted terminology for a transmission. In any mechanic would know exactly what you're talking about. So
Holly Horn. Trans AM.
Anybody who's looking at that and being offended by it, I would tell you that I didn't find it offensive, and I support the LGBTQ community. I support trans people. But to me, it was a funny joke. But I could totally see how somebody else might not think it was funny and be like, no, dude, that's offensive and bigoted and whatever the fuck. I'm just calling it like I see it, man. I do not like that guy. Here, let's watch that joke again. Here it is. It's interesting that he picked this one. I wonder what Cody's going to say about it. What the fuck was that? What was that noise? Moo! Cyber! Moo! Moo, Cyber. I love it. That's funny. What's that noise, boys and girls? Could it be Cyber Reload? Could it be Cyber Reload today? Oh my god. Okay, so here we go, guys. This is the Steven Crowder joke again, which I say is funny.
Honestly, you're gonna wish I kept going instead of showing you this clip.
Darn tranny. It's always giving me problems with them. That's the last time I drive a Chevy. I'll tell you that. Anyway, this week I changed my gender and went to Planet Fitness.
I changed my gender.
Just one thing, careful to your back. You can hurt your back. It's a little rounded. Just make sure it's flat. Excuse me. I just need just some help to get the weight up, and in case just in case for safety, but I should be good.
Okay, super not going to spend a lot of time on Crowder because, you know. But here we have a video where Steven Crowder pretends to be a trans woman, goes to the gym, and then just annoys people in a way that has nothing to do with being trans.
Okay, I was good. I just need help lifting up. What was that? trying to run away. I said it was trying to run away from me.
Biting commentary about trans people going to the gym who then cause a scene and break safety rules before being called out for being a right-wing shill.
But why are you telling me that I'm insincere?
Because I know who you are.
How do you know who I am? Are you saying that because that's a pre-transition ID? Is that why?
Have a good day, Steven.
What's really the punchline or observation here? I will answer that,
awesome,
actually.
dude.
The punchline
Awesome.
is all the people who would then share this on Twitter and say, what the f*** is this? The punchline is me, right now, asking what the punchline is. It's that I am reacting to it. Conservative comedians have become obsessed with getting a reaction from the left to the point that they've completely forgotten to say an actual joke. They do something pointless, often cruel or weird or factually wrong, and laugh when people point out that it's pointless or cruel or weird or factually wrong.
They did it with Donald Trump.
And so this idea that wit is based on the third party's willingness to accept a joke has actually become more meta than that. It's a comedian saying unfunny things to an audience, and then a second audience watching that
You know, I've made a horrible mistake. I've always said that this all started from Donald Trump, you know, and since Donald Trump, we've not taken things seriously, and but I'm wrong. Do you guys remember when Barack Obama was president and Mitch McConnell said he wouldn't let him get a single bill through the House? Remember that? And it didn't matter what the bills were, and Barack Obama was trying to do good things and pass healthcare shit, and Mitch McConnell stonewalled him at and said he was going to do it and did it. Right? I'm going to make Barack Obama a one-term president. You guys remember that? McConnell kept saying that shit. We're going to make him a one-term president. I'm not going to let him pass any bills, any legislation. You know, was he Speaker of the House at the time? So he had all the power to put an end to things. And at that moment in history is when I believe the right started realizing that, hey man, look what we did to Obama with McConnell. We could do whatever we want. We just do what we want and just fucking fold our arms and laugh at them. That's how we'll get what we want. It wasn't Donald Trump, man. It was fucking Mitch McConnell. One-term president.
First audience not laugh and finding that or in other words,
Mitch McConnell. It's like a fucking turkey.
It's gonna get a comment at Media Matters.
The joke there is, look at this mean or incorrect thing I just said. Boy, that's going to make people mad.
I mean, come on.
And the insatiable lust for this end result, to have the media outraged over you, has really thrown off a lot of conservatives' ability to tell an actual joke. Because again, if the end result is to make liberals react or go, that's not funny, the easiest way to do that is to not be funny. And so it creates a built-in excuse for any time someone points that out. The Babylon can comfortably lean back on the idea that they're comedy geniuses playing 4D chess because no one understood their super good joke about how doctors prescribe water to horses. Even if the political point they're trying to make is clear, the language and context and attempt is just, whoo boy, not great. Often it all collapses in on itself, where the left will laugh at how ridiculous an attempt it is, and that reaction will be seen as a success. Ben Garrison comes to mind, because I bet the first time you saw a Ben Garrison political cartoon, you assumed that it was actually a satire of right-wing politics until learning that it was actually genuine. And while I'm guessing here, the reason he probably draws Trump as this swole fuckable is that he knows that gets a reaction from the left. Also, there's at least a percentage of people masturbating to it, right? Like, am I right? I don't want to derail this, but I'm sure someone is masturbating to Ben Garrison's muscular, sweaty, pumping, veiny Trump drawings, really picturing his mounting presence like a tacky steed, you know? Penetration, etc. Only the main reaction, besides the furious masturbation, is the left laughing at him doing that. It's like urinating in your own mouth on the bus and then claiming you successfully triggered the passengers when they all leave at the next stop. And so triggering, or satire, or trolling often feels like a stand-in excuse for when they fail at a joke and need to fall back on something to save their piss-covered face. O and an F. Oofers. That's a cartoon released by the Daily Wire, claiming at the end there that until the white folk came around to America, Native Americans only had dream catchers, tomahawks, and cannibalism. And then we showed up and gave them all the other stuff, like medicine, breath mints, and plumbing, which are actually all things they already had a version of, but whatever. Oh, and one of the things they list is American football, which hilariously was invented by the Iroquois. Anywho, also, a whole section about the cultivation of corn, of all things. But anywho, again, the point is that the video is clearly mocking Indigenous Peoples Day and trying, wrongly, to credit Europeans with advancing America. It's just what the video is about. And yet when the media correctly pointed out how racist and uneducated the video was, our pal Ben Shapiro claimed that it was just satire while also pulling the video from the site. But what does that mean? Once again, satire is the act of using exaggerations or irony to make a point.
No law regarding cannabis. Cheers,
isn't an
everybody.
exaggeration of leftist ideas. It's a straightforward video claiming that Europeans were the ones who actually invented civilization and made corn or some shit. So what's the satire of it then? The only answer is that it would be a satire of conservative views of Thanksgiving and Columbus Day, but on a conservative website. A conservative website that's writers and editors all talk seriously about the glory of white Europeans civilizing the savages. So, like, they know their opinions are dog shit? You see how this gets so confusing and muddled. And the obvious answer is that they totally earnestly meant to make that video racist and had to backtrack. Side note, Ben said he didn't know it went up and was on vacation at the time, despite the amount of time that goes into a cartoon and scheduling that goes into publishing a Columbus Day video on Columbus Day. Also, in his attempted explanation about the satire being a response to the left turning Columbus Day solely into a story about Western civilization genociding Native Americans, he put genociding in quotes. So like, maybe there's something really there about the beliefs going on there.
Denial of facts.
Anyway, it's like whenever people would say Trump was being sarcastic or trolling when he said completely serious and ghoulish things, but the things they would say he's trolling about often aligned with all of his other beliefs. So like, what was his entire presidency ironic? Was he the Andy Kaufman of elected officials? Or once again, is this idea of satire or trolling a really convenient way to deflect literally any and all criticism? I feel like it's that second thing and not the Andy Kaufman thing. So there you have it. I successfully explained not much yet, actually. Suck a ball. We still haven't figured out why conservatives aren't funny, have we? And we're gonna break for ads? What are we, some kind of show? Hey there, News Dans and people not named Dan. Do you run a small business? Maybe you train mice to make breakfast or run a mom-and-pop weapons manufacturing conglomerate. Well, then maybe you often just tend to prank each other. And when they do prank someone else, like those Gulfs folk, we say, f them. They're rich, and they're at a country club and probably suck, so it just feels like punching up. But if you're a golfer, you might actually find that prank cruel. And heck, maybe those golfers were actually nice. We don't know. We didn't ask them. We're just being mean for fun.
Dude, I used to do it in my car all the time with my friends in the car. We'd be driving down the boulevard of this neighborhood, and I remember at one point I was driving a Caprice Classic Chevrolet, and I had a loud ass horn on that. Is it like a 77? think. Yeah, 77 Caprice Classic. And we would drive around the boulevard and you could see the golf course. And there was literally a fucking tee right by the fence. It was just 100 feet away. And we could see one day there were fucking 4 guys up there. And one guy was getting ready to swing. And I'm pulling up in my Caprice in the neighborhood on the other side of a chain link fence, driving around the boulevard like cars do all day. And this guy, he goes to swing, and I go, wah! And he's like, ah! He hits the ball goes bink, and he throws his club down. He's like, damn it! He turns around, and we're laughing and laughing and laughing. Oh boy, yeah. It happened on more than one occasion, but that one time in particular, I remember it like it happened yesterday.
Because truthfully, everyone has a little cruelty in them.
Yeah,
and
it's a funny joke. It's a funny joke. It's fun. What can you say? Somebody's about to swing. Everybody's all quiet. Car down by beep. It's just fucking funny, man. People do it to me when I'm
harmless.
People do it to me when I'm
harmless, you know.
I know, it's hilarious. I'm like, fuck you. I get a do-over.
Life is about trying to control that and mock people we feel deserve it. The incredibly wealthy and powerful come to mind. Ooh, spooky. Sometimes I like to put raw meat in the mufflers of expensive cars so when they start the car, it looks like meat diarrhea came out. But sometimes I don't do that. And that's the balance. But there is absolutely a subset of people who find cruelty in general very funny. Not in small doses or paired with humor, but just the act of being cruel. There are loads of prank videos on the internet that are just people assaulting other people without a joke in sight. And so going back to jokes or just weird pranks around trans people, there is an oddly large audience who think that's actually punching up against a woke mob or something like that. Who, much like we say about those golfers, say, f them.
Say I was punching down on them. Punching down. The fuck does that mean?
What the do you think it means, millionaire comedian Dave Chappelle?
Okay, what punching down means is that you've got a platform with more people that listen to you, and you're attacking someone with a smaller platform who's unable to defend themselves.
The people who think the LGBTQ community has it like good now because they got some rights and more representation don't really seem to grasp how the last few years compared to all of human history before this moment. Like, this isn't the point of this video, but how fucking wild is that? That's like being saved from drowning and then everyone immediately getting mad at how much air you're taking up. Let the fucking trans community have a goddamn...
I mean, it's almost hilarious that one of the people on the planet who can only punch down doesn't know what it means. Isn't that funny? Huh.
Other fucking second to enjoy being slightly more represented in this country, and as this lady pointed out on Twitter, a chance to not be perpetually on the ropes about who they are. Like, maybe trans comedians could have more visibility if they didn't have to spend most of their time responding to this bullshit. You know, sweet boiling Christ. Even the beacon of edgy humor, Normand 9/11 McDonald, stopped doing transgender jokes because he felt they were both lazy and potentially harmful toward trans people. To quote him directly, "You don't want to have a joke be misunderstood and then someone goes and beats up a trans person."
Right.
Good point.
That is a good point.
And so taking all of this and applying it to comedy and the question, why aren't conservatives very funny? Well, if your goal is to say something from any political perspective that is designed solely to anger a group of people, it's often just pretty fucking boring unless you actually create a valid criticism or at least involve some unbearable puppet. Not today, buddy! This is especially when it comes to political satire, which often works best with a clear observation, and more often the truth comes back to cruelty, to this image that runs in every conservative's head when they say what they tell themselves is a joke. The angry, screaming lib who is just so triggered, and that's what they actually think is funny. And honestly, the most frustrating part of all of this is that Democrats, the left, lib-bones, libinachis, etc., well, there's like so fucking much you could make fun of them for if you actually came at it from a place of nuance or valid criticism. Non-conservative websites do it all the goddamn time. Sites like Reductress, while sometimes taking shots at the right, mainly devoted to jokes about feminists, and they're feminists. The Onion, The Hard Times, Clickhole, these are all sites that parody themselves more than others. Heck, we do it all the time, and in this video you are watching. It's very, very easy. Here's some news. AOC's Met Gala dress was criticized for being performative activism, as opposed to the rest of her time in office staying under the radar and getting a lot of stuff done. But hey, what's important is that it's driving the conversation, because that's definitely why we elect people. Weird how a lot of the most visible progressives in Congress don't actually introduce laws or co-sponsor bills, but sure like to tweet about a bunch of stuff America should be doing. Tweet harder! I don't know, maybe we need a few more Netflix shows about inequality under capitalism that we can all glom on to and make them nearly $1 billion that they can use to not pay their creators and fire trans people. Hold on, I gotta make another tweet about that injustice while simultaneously gushing over the Great British Baking Show. Team Jurgen, am I right? I'm not saying we can't enjoy ourselves, but there's gotta be an option between tweeting from your couch and shadow punching a Nazi in downtown Portland. I mean, both are fun, but perhaps if millennials are also concerned about climate change and wealth inequality, we could run for office, or, I don't know, start a YouTube show with mostly white writers complaining about the world so as to feel like we made a difference. But at least the Zoomers must think it's super cool how we're yelling at their grandparents for dooming them to a barren wasteland that we're not actually trying to do much to fix. Point is that we're not hard to make fun of. The average 30-year-old liberal male has the facial hair of a high-tech Viking and the secret misogyny of a regular Viking. But none of this answers the original question at hand. The reason we're all here. And now I'm going to stop teasing you with all of my moist words and finally answer it. And then talk about it for probably way too long after that. Are you ready? You look ready. I can see you, you know. The real answer is that conservatives actually are funny. Just not in this country or during this era. And in fact, you could even argue the answer is simpler, that the unfunny people we've been talking about simply aren't conservatives in the traditional sense, because conservatism in this country has lurched far beyond what other countries would define as right-wing. And now their agenda isn't to sell us on Republican or Christian humor, rather than tirelessly demonize the left in the context of furious culture war bullshit that was inflamed by Trump's presidency. I don't know if you recall, but there were actually funny conservative comedians as recently as the mid-2000s.
The Blue Collar Comedy Tour, the tour that's been cracking up America, is finally hitting the big screen.
I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability. Okay, Leo, that's funny right there.
Blue Collar Comedy Tour, the movie.
Comedy is subjective, so maybe the Blue Collar Comedy Tour wasn't your cup of diamond-encrusted panda flesh tea or whatever the common folk drink. However, it was wildly successful at the time. It was also not a fluke, in that you can find a bunch of other comedians specifically pushing religious, right-wing values who are, in the technical term of the word, doing actual jokes.
Because I don't care how holy you are. You slam your hand in a car door, something's coming out of your mouth.
Are they jokes I like? But again, we're not trying to make a judgment here, but rather identify jokes that are actually written to be a joke, with like a punchline and an observation, coming from a human and baseline compassionate perspective. To put it in terms they might understand, jokes that identify as jokes. There's actually a whole spectrum of types of conservative humor that was very popular or well done. The blue-collar sitcoms like Roseanne and Home Improvement, and even politically charged comedy from the right. Here's a guy named Adam Yenzer doing a jab at Obama's economy.
Like, Obama wants you to think this country is creating jobs, but it's not. This country created one job, which is Uber driver, and then we all signed up for it. So now our entire economy is based on the fact that we take turns giving each other a ride to the airport. In exchange for the same $30.
Conservatives were funny and successful during this time, and also in other countries right now, you know, where Trump wasn't their president.
My friend is from another country, and she came in, she was like, can you please explain what everyone is annoyed about with this whole Brexit thing? I said, look, Imagine if you and 10 of your friends were in a Burger King. Right? And you said, listen, who wants to leave the Burger King? And 6 people were like, we want to leave the Burger King. And then somebody who didn't want to leave the Burger King was like, I'll get us out of here. I'll have a word with the manager. I'll get us a deal. So do we need a deal? Come on, no, you can't leave without a deal. I'll get a deal. You want to leave? Yeah, I'm going to get the deal, right? So she goes to talk to the manager. She comes back 2 years later. She's been trying to leave, the door says push, she's pulling that thing, can't get us out. She goes, great news, I've done us a deal to leave. What's the deal? We got to pay the manager £40 million. And then we get to leave, technically, yes. What do you mean, technically? Well, physically, we'll still be in the Burger King. You, are you in Burger King? You'll be able to tell them, no, we left.
Putting aside your views on Brexit, that is a pro-Brexit comedian making a pro-Brexit joke in a way that is structurally a joke. I can't believe the bar is this low. And for the record, they still have all that cancel culture, anti-woke shit going on over there. I'm not trying to make a judgment on this guy or anything like that, but rather point out that this self-proclaimed right-wing comic still does jokes that conservatives would never do today in America.
In order to love your country, you have to know what's wrong with it. Did you know, historical fact for you, the British have been to war with 75% of the countries in the world? This is why no one likes us, man. We're trying to complete the set, right? We had a fight with everyone. We had a fight with Argentina over who owns the Falkland Islands. They are based right on the coast of Argentina. Who do you think might be right? Go on. I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, Alistair, careful, you don't understand the political situation that surrounds all. Right, I don't. Here's what I do understand. Imagine a group of people from Kenya came over here and said, listen, I think we own the Isle of Wight.
He's not the only one. Here's another right-wing British comic making a joke about the low minimum wage in his country.
I parked my car at a parking meter in Soho, and the parking meter charged me £6 an hour to park my car. It was actually more than the minimum wage. There were kids working in McDonald's, could look through a window and see a parking meter earning more than they are.
Again, I don't know much about these guys. Maybe they're real monsters, or maybe they're great, but these simply aren't the type of conservative jokes we get over here. But we don't have to talk about Britland or Engelberg or whatever they call it, but monarchium. I don't know. After all, this is about American conservatism, which sure seems to have veered steadily way more into the right after Trump. And I know it seems like a cop-out to put it all on that ghastly Wang, but just hear me out. You can see this simply by comparing mid-2000s American conservative comedy to comedy today. Here's Ron White, a member of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, doing a bit about how sexuality is on a spectrum.
I go, we're all gay. It's just to what extent are you gay? He goes, that's bullshit, man. I ain't gay at all. I'm like, yeah, you are, and I can prove it. He goes, fine, prove it.
Can you seriously imagine any conservative comedian making a joke like that now? Or this tweet about the private prison industry demonizing weed. It used to be that we were getting past the idea of Republicans or Christians versus gay rights. I'm willing to bet a lot of conservatives today are completely on the side of LGBTQ rights, but their loudest members have somehow reverted their party because, you know, of him. Fantastic, so glad we're going to talk about him. But we gotta, folks. He's sort of the symptom of a lot of problems and the reason for a lot of other problems. Like, not just in comedy, obviously, you know? And Trump's election marked a drastic change for this country. And whenever the United States makes a drastic change, comedy also needs to shift with it. To quote Jon Stewart in his first Daily Show after 9/11.
And we don't take that for granted here by any stretch of the imagination. And our show has changed. I don't doubt that. What it's become, I don't know. Subliminable is not a punchline anymore. One day it will become that again. And
oh shit,
Lord,
dude, I probably can't show this on my show, man. I'm gonna get in trouble for showing fucking Comedy Central footage. He can do it, I'm sure, but I can't. So, let me try
Holly Horn. It's become right-wing.
Really? I don't watch it. I don't know.
Holly Horn. Don't get in trouble.
Yeah. Hopefully we're okay. But that's some more news on YouTube. Cody Johnston on Twitter. I highly recommend you guys check him out and follow him. What the hell's going on with that camera showing black? It's weird. Who takes the Senate? War-hungry Dems or LGBTQ-hating Repubs? That's the title. We're going to find out. Voting's tomorrow. And they're going to start keeping track, you know, and then early voting comes in. The early voting gets counted. I think each vote should be counted as it comes in, early or not. I don't think they should start counting on voting on election day. I think they should start counting early. It subverts the reality of how the election's going, you know? Netanyahu pledges a crusade against Kanye West. What's that all about?
Sean aka Trendy Orca. Trendy Nay is the best podcaster, period.
Thank you, Sean. That's very nice of you to say. Wow, fucking 19 hours not an upload from Jimmy Dore. He hasn't gone live yet still. He's uploaded some stuff like this. This is about this. We'll watch this. This is 6. Oh no, it's a fake fucking phone call. I'm not interested in it. Okay. Oh, Rogie just attacked the cat. Rogie just came up and attacked the cat.
Sean aka Trendy Orca. You're so welcome, Nay hashtag Team Rogie. Holly Horn. Is that Mars?
It's Call of Duty. It's just a
Holly Horn. Ah.
It's just a gravel path in the game. David Bowles blue check has 45,000 followers. Lost 2,000 followers over the last week. I'm pretty sure they weren't bots. I don't think that many of my followers have quit here yet. 2 years ago, I paid a service $1,000 to remove my bot followers. The numbers stayed calm and confirmed until the Elon takeover changed things. David Bowles, freaking somebody with 45,000 followers just fucking tweeted at me. Holy shit, with a blue check. I wonder if he paid for that blue check. Bowles.tv. I don't know. Yeah, man, I was responding to top Zelensky aide calls for strikes on Iran. You guys, we got plenty of shit to talk about if you're interested in this shit. There's no Rumble rants yet. I'm kind of sad. Let me refresh the Rumble rant page. Are you guys not able to chat in there? Go verify your emails with Rumble, please. If you've signed up and you're not able to chat in Rumble, make sure you verify your email. Just check your email for a Rumble email. So, top Zelensky aide calls for a strike on Iran. Tehran's military-industrial facilities should be attacked over alleged arms supplies to Russia, Mikhail Podolyak says. I tweeted this, should never have attacked Iranian centrifuges with the Stuxnet virus in 2010. Chickens are coming home to roost. Thank Obama. It got a retweet, man. It got 2 likes, son. What? Hell yeah. Who's the retweeter, man? At Doogie Styles. What? Hashtag Stuxnet. Hashtag what's net. What? So, what the guy said was those Iranian Shahad 136 drones must have been very effective. He's got fucking 32,000 followers. Jesus fuck, who are these people, man? Oh my God. You know, people don't know about the Stuxnet virus. People don't know about the Iranian centrifuges. There's a whole documentary on it. It's called 0 Days. I highly recommend you watch it for free on YouTube. We could watch that motherfucker on Rumble. We could watch it on Rumble. You guys want to watch 0 Days on Rumble with me? Let's do it. Hey everybody, come on over to Rumble. I'll give you the link. There's the link. Come on over. All right. I'll pull this up on YouTube because you just have to type
Smoke up on it also.
Cheers, bro. There you are.
Yeah, I'm mixing the.
Dude, I found another seed this morning. I found another seed this morning. I didn't smoke it. I found it.
That's good.
Yes,
That's good.
I know. Because if I'd smoked it, I would have had to say, I'm dead. I'm dead.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to say that.
Raining today.
I can't wait until we get some more rain. I might have to go out there and water the bananas. I'm losing my big banana tree out there. I gotta cut it lower and see what happens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just gonna slice the top off of it and see if there's any green coming out. I mean, it should just push through eventually, but it's gonna take a long time. It's gotta split through, and you can just cut the top off and expedite it.
Yeah.
Okay. Unpacked.
Unpacked.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, you guys, no law regarding cannabis. Come on over to Rumble. We're gonna watch 0 Days on YouTube over there. I'm just gonna pull my camera around. We're gonna get it all set up. It's gonna be bad-ish. First, we're gonna smoke this bong rip and decipher. Cheers.
Yes.
Josh G. What's good, man?
What's good, man? You just reminded me to pull up Stuxnet on a different browser. Josh, thank you. So I got a different volume. Okay, it's called 0 Days. and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, everybody, come on over to Rumble. I've given you a link in the chat. Josh, here's a link in the chat. Come on over to Rumble right now. We're gonna watch 0 Days. Let me get my my tripod here set up.
Josh G. It'll be there.
Okay. Cool, man. It might be best on the curved screen, actually. I'll play it over here on this screen. We'll just see how it looks. You guys are going to love this. You guys that are on YouTube, come on over to Rumble right now so you can watch this movie. It's great. You're going to learn about a virus that was written by government officials from various governments that attacked Iran back in the mid, is the early 2000s. It's 2010, I think, or something like that. Very interesting stuff here, man. Now, let me get this right where I want it. Oh, yeah, I love having it on this tripod, dude. Oh, God, that's so cool. That's so cool, bruh. Watch this little trickety. What? And then we're just going to do that. This, and say, and let us say,
Holly Horn.
Flow.
Rumbling over.
Let us say, Bowflow. And then we said, Bowflow. Okay. Moving all this stuff over here. Moving the volume over here. Okay, now we're gonna move. Look at this here. Where is the this one. Move this window here. Because the curved window is kind of like anti-reflection, you know? I wonder if I do this. Oh. Ah. I wonder if I do this too. It helps. Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. That helps too. And I wonder if I could tilt the screen down too. But here you go. Let's end our stream over there on YouTube. You guys come on over to Rumble if you want to watch this. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. The link is once again in the chat. Come on over to Rumble. Make sure you fill out a register there. Get the email. Answer the email so you can so you can chat and stuff in the Rumble rants. All right. Bye guys.